Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Good to be here.
Yeah, and today we are bringing you a special morning roundup edition,
Right. The morning roundup.
which means we've got this massive stack of diverse sources that you've shared with us today. I mean, we are looking at everything from tech industry insiders talking about AI to ancient Greek mysticism.
Oh, yeah. And some pretty fiery critiques of modern dating and feminism.
Exactly. It's a wild mix.
Yeah.
But our mission for this deep dive is to sort through all this content, summarize the key insights, and kind of thread them all together for you.
Because there really is a theme here.
There is. The overarching theme running through literally all these sources is this modern crisis of meaning, connection, and truth. Like, how do we navigate a hyper-technological age?
And, well, how ancient wisdom might actually be the only way out.
Right. And just to set the philosophy for the morning roundup, we are here to present the information impartially.
Yeah, we're just connecting the dots.
Exactly. We're going to lay it out there and let you, the listener, decide how you feel about it. Because sometimes, having your worldview challenged is exactly what you need to grow.
Totally.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've got to start with the AI illusion.
Big one.
Right. So we're starting with the lens through which we process the modern world technology and information. And there is this massive headline panic right now.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah, like the CEO of Anthropic is claiming AI will wipe out 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs. 50%.
Which is a terrifying number.
It really is. But we have a source here from Alan Lee, who is a former AI product marketing manager. And he pushes back on this incredibly hard.
He does. And we have to analyze the why here. Like, why are tech CEOs saying this?
Right. What's their incentive?
Exactly. They're heavily incentivized to drive shareholder value by hyping up their AI as this, ultimate silver bullet.
Because fear sells.
Fear sells and hype gets venture capital funding. But Alan points out that these massive tech layoffs we've been seeing, they aren't primarily about AI taking jobs.
No.
No, they're a correction. It's a correction from the zero interest rate over hiring binge that happened from 2020 to 2022.
Oh, right. When money was basically free.
Exactly. Companies just hired everyone.
Yeah.
And now they have to correct that. So they use AI as a really convenient PR excuse to cover up just, bad management.
So wait, blaming AI for layoffs is essentially like blaming your dog for eating your homework, when in reality you just completely forgot to do the homework.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You just didn't do it. But the high-tech dog sounds like a better excuse.
Wow. Okay.
And Alan goes into the reality of what he calls AI slop.
I love that term. AI slop.
It's so accurate, though. He notes that AI is, it's great at automating transcripts, but it is terrible at nuance.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, the source gives this hilarious example. An AI completely fabricated a fake San Francisco souvenir shop.
A fake shop.
Yeah, it called it Electric Logistics.
That doesn't even sound like a souvenir shop.
Right. And it made this up instead of summarizing the actual LLC the user had created.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it just hallucinated the whole thing. And this kind of slop requires subject matter experts to spend hours fixing the mistakes.
Which completely defeats the purpose of saving time.
Exactly. You spend all the time you save just editing the hallucinations.
And it also points out that human relationships, like cross-functional collaboration or building actual rapport with a sales director, you just cannot automate that.
You really can't. A machine doesn't know office politics.
Right.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this AI slop really ties into how we think, or, how we fail to think. We have another source from the Daily Stoic about thinking better in the age of AI.
Yeah, I wanted to get into this because AI produces this very average, aggregated content.
Right. It's literally just predicting the most average next word.
So the burden on you, the listener, to think critically is higher than it's ever been.
Absolutely. The source introduces this concept called the Gell-Mann amnesia effect.
Oh, this is fascinating. Explain this one.
So it's when we laugh at the media or an AI because they get a topic that we are experts in, completely wildly wrong.
Like the electric logistics thing.
Exactly. You see it and you're like, this machine is an idiot. But then literally 5 minutes later, you ask it a question about a topic you know nothing about, and you just blindly trust the answer.
We just give ourselves amnesia. We forget it was just stupid a second ago.
Right. We just accept it because it sounds confident. To survive this, the source says we have to return to Aristotle's first principles.
First principles.
Yeah. Break things down to the absolute raw facts and build backward.
Yeah.
Stop trusting the aggregate.
And that really brings up this idea of the information diet. Just like athletes have nutritionists monitoring what goes into their bodies. You have to monitor what goes into your brain.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly, garbage in, garbage out. And there's this incredible story in the source about James Stockdale.
Oh, at Stanford during the Cold War.
Right. So he didn't just read American critiques of Marxism. He actually read the primary sources. He read Marx. He read Lenin.
Straight from the source.
He had to actually understand his enemy. And that intellectual rigor literally saved him when he became a POW in Vietnam.
Because he understood their worldview better than they did.
Exactly. So the challenge for you listening is to read dangerous ideas. Actually, steelman your opponent's arguments. Don't just read the summary of why they're wrong.
The Daily Stoic source gives a very practical tool for this, the Commonplace book.
I need to start doing this.
Same. The idea is don't rely on your memory, actively write down quotes and insights, and take long walks without technology.
Right, like Seneca and Kierkegaard did.
Yeah, no podcasts, no music, just walk in silence to actually process your thoughts.
Wow. Okay, so if AI and algorithms are distorting our reality at work and in our information diet, we have to look at how they are affecting our personal lives.
Oh, this is where it gets heavy.
Yeah, so let's transition to the modern dating wasteland.
Wasteland is definitely the word.
Right. Algorithms are so good at picking up our vulnerabilities. One source, Freya India, notes that your social media feed basically becomes a visual representation of your worst inner thoughts and neuroses.
It literally feeds your insecurities back to you.
And that leads into this massive critique of the Call Her Daddy podcast culture and hypergamy.
Yeah, we have sources from Itzy Gundam and Freya India touching on this.
Now, quick disclaimer here, we are diving into some heavily charged cultural and gender critiques right now.
Very charged.
Yeah. We are not endorsing these viewpoints. We are just impartially recording the arguments presented in your sources to, challenge conventional thinking.
Right. So, summarizing the critique here, these sources argue that modern dating culture treats partners like status symbols.
Like luxury bags.
Basically, yeah.
Well,
The source uses comedian Nikki Glaser as an example. She talked about wanting a hot husband, but not just for her. She wanted him just to know that other women desire him.
wait, really?
Yeah, treating the man literally like a coveted handbag.
Wow. So it's all about external validation.
Exactly. And the critique is that this constant need for external validation means women are never truly content with themselves.
Which brings in that string theory analogy from the pickup community source.
Oh, the cat analogy.
Right. So a cat goes absolutely crazy for a piece of string that it can't quite catch, but the absolute second it catches the string and pins it down.
It loses all interest.
Completely. And the source argues that if a man is too stable, or like 100% hers, the attraction just dies.
It's the death of dopamine. There's no chase left.
Exactly.
And Freya India connects this to what she calls liberal feminism. She argues that the movement has actually turned women into products.
How so?
Well, she cites Cardi B, arguing that the modern ideal is a woman who treats relationships as purely transactional with basically no human feelings.
That sounds incredibly isolating.
It is. And furthermore, she argues the mental health industry pathologizes natural instincts.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
Like if a girl doesn't like her boyfriend watching porn, instead of that being a normal boundary, she's gaslit by therapy speak.
Oh, they call her insecure.
Right. She's called insecure or controlling because society just lacks a shared moral framework to say, hey, maybe the porn is the problem.
Wow. It's all put back on her to just deal with it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's look at the actual mathematics of this dating market. We have sources from Homath and Film Threat here.
Homath breaks down the psychological mapping of attraction in a really clinical way.
Yeah, he says women look for both security and attraction. Two different things.
Two very different things. And men often falsely believe that providing security, like being a nice guy with a good job, somehow entitles them to attraction.
Which is crazy. It's like showing up to a high-end steakhouse and aggressively demanding a meal just because you brought a fork.
I love that analogy.
Right. Like, yes, the fork is security. You need it. But you still have to bring the actual currency to pay for the steak.
You have to bring the attraction. Security alone doesn't buy it.
And technology has just wrecked this dynamic. The source talks about the blockbuster video nostalgia trap.
Oh man, Blockbuster. Back in the day, you went to a store, you existed in 3D.
You had a personality, you made a joke to the cashier.
Exactly. But the phone has reduced humans to a flat 2D image.
Just a swipe.
Just a swipe. So women judge the absolute top tier of men online based purely on a 2D image while ignoring the rest.
Which leads to that stat where 80% of men feel entirely left out of the market.
80%. Just totally invisible.
And the film Threat Source adds to this, observing that society has lost the 90s sitcom father figure.
Like the stable, reliable dad.
Right. Masculinity is under attack, leaving men without roadmaps. So what is the solution offered by the source for these men?
The source is pretty blunt. It says, be attractive and be willing to walk away.
Walk away.
Yeah, hold your boundaries.
Yeah.
The source warns heavily against female-led marriages.
Interesting.
Because it argues that women lose respect and attraction for men who abandon their leadership roles. If a man won't enforce a boundary, the polarity of the relationship just dies.
Wow. And the fallout from this is wild. Some men are getting so disillusioned that they are literally just waiting for AI sex robot.
They're just opting out entirely. It's bleak.
It is bleak. Which brings us to our next transition. If the dating market is in free fall and technology is isolating us, where are the traditional institutions that used to guide family formation?
They're definitely struggling.
Yeah, like we have this source from Faith and Dating Explained, and the statistic they highlight is just staggering. 63% of men under 30 are single.
More than half.
Way more than half. So what is the church doing about this?
Well, according to the source, the church is failing. They are failing to outpace the secular culture. Instead of building actual pipelines for family formation, modern churches are optimizing for experiences.
Like the rock band worship concert.
Exactly. Worship concerts, slick branding, coffee shops in the lobby, which raises an important question. Are churches just managing broken families instead of actually building strong ones?
That is a brutal question.
It is. The source argues that romance should be a byproduct of commitment, not the foundation.
Okay, unpack that, because modern society says romance is the foundation.
Right. Secular society says find a spark and then maybe commit. But historically, society organized around marriage and childbearing first. You commit, and the romance is built inside that container.
And ignoring this is what leads to underemployment, crime, and just generationally repeated dysfunction.
It breaks the whole machine down.
Okay, this brings us to the orthodox critique of feminism. And once again, just reminding you, the listener, we are presenting a traditional religious critique of modern gender roles here.
We aren't taking sides.
Exactly. We are just laying out the source material from St. Mary Orthodox Church for you to wrestle with.
And it is a challenging source. The priest talks about what he calls the lie women are told.
The lie.
Yeah. He argues that modern feminism tells women their worth is defined entirely by their careers and competing with men.
In the corporate machine.
Right. And he says this forces them to abandon what makes them uniquely women. Motherhood, which used to be deeply revered, is now treated as an obstacle or just a burden.
It's seen as something that gets in the way of your actual worth.
Exactly.
He shares this Genesis perspective that I thought was really fascinating.
Oh, the creation order.
Yeah. He points out that woman is the glory of man. God created the whole world, created Adam, but only said creation was very good after the woman was created.
Which is the crown of creation.
Exactly. And because of that, the source argues that a man's primary role is to sacrifice, to labor, and to protect his family, not just sit around and waste time on video games.
It's a huge call to responsibility for men.
And he also defends the practice of women veiling in church.
Which a lot of people misunderstand today.
Yeah, they see it and think oppression.
But the priest explains it's not oppression at all. It is a sign of sacredness.
Like the Ark of the Covenant.
Exactly. Just as the Ark and the holy gifts are veiled because they are intensely holy, a woman's ability to bring life into the world makes her uniquely sacred. You veil what is holy.
Okay, but I have to push back on the source a bit, or ask a question, really.
Go for it.
The source acknowledges that our current socioeconomic system almost demands 2 incomes just to survive.
Rent is crazy. Groceries are crazy.
Right. So is it fair to ask people to return to traditional roles when the economy makes it nearly impossible without just extreme crushing sacrifice?
It's a very fair question. The priest's answer is basically yes, it requires extreme sacrifice. The source views that financial struggle not as a bug, but as a feature of the ascetic life.
Wow.
Yeah, he quotes a Romanian elder saying, every mother is a martyr.
So you just have to accept the suffering.
Essentially, yes. To protect the family unit, you reject the modern economic demands.
Well, that idea of rejecting the world leads perfectly into our final segment. Because if modern culture, technology, and contemporary institutions are all failing to provide meaning, our final stack of sources suggests looking backward.
Way backward.
Right, to ancient philosophy and strict asceticism. seeking refuge in the ancient and the divine.
Let's talk about the spiritual lives of the ancient Greeks. We have sources from Let's Talk Religion and Esoterica.
And it wasn't just Percy Jackson myths, right?
Not at all. It was incredibly deep. They had these mystery cults, like the Eleusinian mysteries,
Got poker, though.
and initiates would go through these intense secret rituals. It possibly involved a psychoactive drink called the kykeon,
Like a psychedelic?
basically, yeah. And it simulated a descent into the underworld, a katabasis, and then an ascent.
And what was the result of that?
It permanently removed their fear of death. Like, permanently.
That is wild. And here's where it gets really interesting. We talk about Plato, and we usually think of him as just a guy sitting around doing math and logic.
Pure rationalist.
Right. But the Esoterica source says that's totally wrong.
It is. Plato talked about divine mania, divine madness.
So true philosophy wasn't just rational deduction.
No, it was a mystical illumination. Plato believed that when we see physical beauty in this world, it actually reminds our souls of the true divine realities we knew before we were born.
Oh, like before our souls fell into bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said when you experience that divine madness, your soul's wings actually start to grow back.
That is beautiful.
It is. And this evolved into Middle Platonism and Neoplatonism, with thinkers like Proclus and Plotinus.
And they introduced this concept of the one.
The One. A single divine principle from which literally all reality emanates.
Like light from the sun.
Exactly. And in this system, everything in the physical world is a symbolon.
A token.
Right, a token that is permanently linked to a specific god, which means you can actually communicate with the divine through physical rituals.
Using the physical world to reach the divine.
Yes, this is the absolute foundation of Western esotericism.
But then we compare that Greek ascent to the Christian concept of renunciation. We have sources here from Holy Resurrection and the Doppelkreuz.
And their approach is very different.
Very. They urge believers to flee Egypt without looking back, like Lot's wife.
Right, she looked back and turned into a pillar of salt.
Because you cannot look at heaven with one eye and earth with the other.
You have to choose.
The narrow way they describe is harsh. We're talking restricted diets, all-night vigils, accepting insults without getting angry.
Crushing the ego.
Exactly. And the Doppelkreuz source stresses the urgency of this. It says, God has promised grace to the penitent soul. He does not promise a tomorrow.
You have to do it now.
And suffering is necessary. It's what led Christ to paradise.
Doug Wilson has a note in here that really threads this together.
What does he say?
He says the goal of this intense withdrawal and piety isn't just personal enlightenment. It's to raise a generation of courageous believers, people who understand the legitimate uses of power and remain loyal to their God because they aren't addicted to the world.
It sounds like both the Greeks and the ascetics are saying the modern world is just a corrupted operating system.
A virus.
Yeah. And the only way to fix it is a hard factory reset, unplugging completely from worldly attachments.
Total detachment.
Okay, let's bring it all together for the morning roundup synthesis.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We really have. From the AI slop threatening our sense of truth, to the algorithms toxifying our dating lives, all the way to the breakdown of the nuclear family.
But there is a clear through line.
There is. It's this deep human craving for reality and commitment in a world that is just built on cheap digital substitutes.
And whether it's the Stoics demanding we think in first principles, or the Neoplatonists looking for the one, or the Orthodox calling for a return to sacrificial family life, the answer is intentionality.
You have to do the work.
You have to.
So, as promised on the morning roundup, here's your action plan based on today's deep dive. Step 1. Audit your information diet.
Start a commonplace book today.
Stop doom scrolling. Start capturing actual wisdom. Write it down. Step 2. Break the algorithm.
If you are dating, get off the apps.
Please, force yourself into real-world social pipelines where you aren't just a flat 2D image. And step 3. Read a dangerous idea.
I love this one.
Yeah. Find a primary source that completely challenges your political or social worldview. And read it not to argue, but to actually understand it.
Steelman their argument.
Exactly. We strongly encourage you to check the show notes. We've linked to all these sources. Read them for yourselves and go deeper on everything we've talked about today.
Really dig into the primary texts.
I want to leave everyone with a final provocative thought from you to wrap us up.
All right, think about this. We've talked a lot today about the push for endless freedom. Freedom from traditional gender roles, freedom from commitment, freedom to just swipe endlessly.
Right.
But consider this. What is Total unrestricted freedom is actually a trap that just leads to total paralysis. What if the ultimate rebellion in the modern age isn't keeping your options open, but willingly binding yourself to a single difficult lifelong commitment?
That is a massive paradigm shift. Something to chew on today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Morning Roundup Deep Dive. We will catch you on the next one.